I'd rather be at home with.
Hey guys, welcome back to Live, Love, Life, and Travel. This is your girl Shamika, and welcome to Shout Out Saturdays, which is basically a continuation from Free Talk Fridays. It's a new series that I'm going to be doing where I basically tell you guys something I think you should be getting into, whether it's a documentary, whether it's a book or article, a movie, a film, or another YouTuber. If you're new here, just to let you know that I do upload on the daily, and I upload all my travel videos every Monday through Thursday and my Free Talk videos throughout the weekend. So if you're interested, please hit that subscribe button. Today's shout out is going to be a documentary, and I'm a little bit of a documentary junkie. I love them. I can gorge on them for days, and even though I know like not all documentaries are gospel, I know a lot of them are biased, but I do think documentaries is a really great way to continue your education as an adult or a child or whatever, and to figure out what's going on in the rest of the world and society and other cultures and other people, in a way to just broaden your horizons and become more open-minded. So that's why I really love documentaries. And so today's documentary that I'm going to be shouting out is Half the Sky. And being that I am a documentary junkie, also a film buff, you know, but being that I've seen my share of documentaries, it's rare when one really sticks out to me. And Half the Sky is one that I always remembered, and one of the best documentaries I've ever seen, and I love it. And basically Half the Sky basically follows different girls, and it's a docu-series more than a documentary, but it follows a group of young girls from different parts of the world, mostly developing countries or third world countries, that were born into just the most horrendous situations, from Cambodia to Thailand to Africa, just all over the world. And the thing is, I watched a lot of documentaries about, you know, the caste system when girls are born into prostitution, or the female castration done in different parts of Africa. And usually it's just sort of like, look at how horrible this is, this really sucks for them, the end. And it just sort of leaves you really sad and upset how these girls are being treated or living. And what Half the Sky does is, doesn't just show you that these girls are in any situation, it shows you these girls fighting through their situations and fighting through their lives, and not sort of taking it and not allowing their circumstances to like predict their future or their outcome, and not allowing their circumstances to stop them from pursuing the life that they want, or better life. It's based off a book, so you can also read the book, and it's narrated by different celebrities, or different celebrities go to different countries, which I understand why they use celebrities to bring more attention to the documentary, so that's okay with me. And not that, you know, I say what's okay or not okay, but you know, sometimes I feel like that can turn people off, like, oh, this is like a Hollywood thing. But I think they use certain celebrities just to bring more attention to the documentary. When I watched this documentary, for me, this is the epitome of what feminism is supposed to be and is. Like, I'm not a big fan of the new wave or third generation of feminism. I think that when you see these girls live in these type of situations, and then they fight for their rights as females, and that's what feminism is for me. Like, we hear this term rape culture going around a lot here these days. Yes, I still think rape is a big problem here in the Western world, in America, especially on campuses with young people, especially with the police force not testing rape kits for long periods of time when it's just kind of too late. But that still doesn't, in my opinion, we do not live in a rape culture. These girls, some of these girls live in rape culture. Rape culture is when you can get raped, and not only does the rapist never get prosecuted, not even attempt to get prosecuted, you are encouraged not to even tell anybody that you were raped. And if you tell anybody, you are the one who gets punished. The rape victim is the one who gets punished. The rape victim is the one who gets shunned. The rape victim is the one who's pointed at and laughed at and mocked. When the rapist can still walk around your town with their head held high, still having the respect of all the people around him, that is what rape culture is. When someone rapes someone in America, people are outraged. People are disgusted. When that rapist go to prison, they are usually beat, battered, and raped by the other prisoners, because people usually find rape as horrendous and disgusting act for someone to do to another human being. So I don't believe we live in a rape culture. Rape culture is when you are raped and not only do no one care, you are encouraged to shut your fucking mouth up about it. And if you say anything about it, you will no longer be my child or my daughter. We will shun you from the town. We will shun you from our tribe. Get out. You are no longer eligible to get married or have kids or have a career or go to school because you were raped. The victim is the one who is treated like they are the perpetrator. To me, that is rape culture. And that's one of the stories that's in this docu-series, where a young girl gets raped by a family friend or uncle or something like that. And she is encouraged not to speak about it, but she says, no, like, this is wrong. What was done to me is wrong. She goes to the police station. By the way, over generations of this going on, of this being a problem, this was, I think, the only second time someone's ever gone to the police and reported a rape, and no rape has ever been prosecuted. No one's ever been arrested for rape, even though it's an epidemic and it's something that happens quite a lot from where this girl is from. But it's just like, kind of like, no one touches it. Just let it go kind of thing. Just forget it ever happened. It's your fault. You probably did something to deserve it. So just stop talking about it, or you're going to be the one that has to get out. And so she goes to the police anyway, and because she reports it, gets, the town gets wind that she was raped. The father kicks her out of the house, and the father kicks the mother out of the house because the mother wants to protect the daughter, and then they are shunned from the village. Instead of this girl sort of taking this and being upset about it and crying about it and being depressed about it, which I'm sure that is something she went through, she said, no, I'm going to fight for the rights. And she joined a group of other women to try to educate the town that rape is wrong. That is what rape culture is. When you have to tell and teach other people that rape is wrong and is not the fault of the victim, that is what rape culture is. And just seeing these women and seeing these young girls come together and fight for their rights, that is what feminism is. And that's just one of many stories. Seeing a girl who was raised in the most isolated part of her town take her bike and drive miles and miles just so she can get an education. She's working an extra job so she can pay for her own books, living with a father who is most likely molesting her, living with a father that won't help with her schooling because he doesn't believe that children or girls are supposed to get educated, and she's still defying all the odds and doing it anyway. Girls who are born into prostitution and the caste system in India, like, to me, that is one of the most horrific things you can be born into. To be literally, as an infant baby, you are considered a prostitute. In a lot of these parts, the men who go to these child brothels don't see anything wrong with it, and seeing women escape this lifestyle and then go back and try to take other girls out and educate them. And a lot of the documentary is centered around education too, because for a lot of these people who are born in third world countries or isolated countries like this, education is kind of like the only way out. Where, here in America and the Western world, a lot of us scoff at education. Like, I don't necessarily think you need to go to college, but for a lot of these people, the education is kind of the only way out. And for a lot of these girls, they're not supported by their family or their country or the society to get educated. Another one is female castration, which I had no idea what actually female castration was. I thought it was just the removal of the clitoris. It's removal of everything, the labia, the clitoris, lips, everything, just everything. The girls at age 6 years old, it's just brutal, and then it's just horrible. Like, a woman who was born in this part of Africa, she also had to suffer through female castration. And what actually happens, and I believe this is in Sierra Leone, what actually happens is that a lot of these women die in childbirth because of the scarring down there. And it can be a simple fix. This woman came back to her hometown so she can open a clinic for these women so she can perform C-sections, because that's what would save the women and that's what would save the babies. But unfortunately, in this place, the women are property of their husbands. They're just seen as like a couch or a car, and they have to get permission from the husbands to have such a expensive surgery done. And a lot of times the husbands just say, like, why would I spend all that money on a piece of property where I can just get another one? And so they say, no, just let them die. The mother, the child, whatever, like, let them die. I can just get another wife. Like, they're seen as that disposable. And then other parts, there's another story where a woman, this is kind of in the same area where women are seen as property, where they can get beat, they can get murdered, anything. And so a bunch of women got together and started women-only tribes, where it was only women allowed in these tribes, and if they wanted boyfriends or husbands, they can have it, but it had to be outside of the tribe. So it wasn't just the fact that all these women came together to stand on their own and to be strong and defend themselves, because it was rough, especially when they first started this. Of course, they came against a lot of pushback from the men in the village who would come to their village and try to destroy their village, and so they still stood their grounds, and to this day it's still there. And not only is the village still there, there are now sister villages from that village. And so it wasn't just that these women were protecting themselves and protecting each other and standing up for their rights. They were actually now bringing a new generation of young men into the world with a different mindset, that women are not property, and beating and murdering and mistreating your wife or your sister or other women in general is wrong. So it was really good to see that when they interviewed the young boys who were born in these women-only villages, I don't even understand why a man would ever think it's okay to put their hands on a woman. And so they're breeding this whole new generation of stronger young men to take their message along for future generations. So anyway, the documentary is amazing, and if you want to see what true feminism is, watch this documentary, because that to me is what strong women are. Strong women to me isn't crying because some guy said your blouse is nice and now that's a trigger word for you, because when you get complimented you think he automatically wants to rape you or something. No, that is not what strong women is. Watch this documentary, open your mind, see what's going on in the rest of the world. You'll realize that this is not a rape culture. We are very privileged here, and that's another reason why I like watching documentaries, to help remind you to check your privilege. I'm not saying it's not okay to bitch and complain here and there, but for the most part, no matter what color skin you are a lot more privileged than a lot of people in the other parts of the world, you know? So check out the documentary. Sorry if this video was a little bit too long. I'm going to continue to do these shout out Saturdays. I might not do it every Saturday, but I really want to continue, because I think there's tons of things out there that I've watched and I've seen that really did open my mind and open my eyes, and I wanted to share with you guys. If there's any documentaries, articles, movies, films, YouTubers that you think that we should all get into, please put it in the comment section below. And if I haven't watched it, I'll give it a watch. If I have watched it, maybe I'll do a shout out video about it. If you like this video, please like it, and if you want to continue to follow my beautiful journey through life, please subscribe. And thank you from Live, Love, Life, and Travel.
What Nick and Cheryl have been able to do is tell very compelling stories of people that they empathize with and understand in their context.
Well, I got an email. I remember the subject being Sierra Leone, and I opened that one because I was like, that's interesting. What's that all about? And then it was the invitation to come on board, and I immediately said yes. I love what Nick and Cheryl say in the book, that women are not the problem, they're the solution.
When I started reading what Half the Sky is about, and what the message is, and the story.
You are so beautiful and so smart. I know you will be very successful.
You can't say no.
Maybe I shouldn't ask, but can I ask, did your husband ever hit you?
No.
No.
Because I'm very harsh.
Nick and Cheryl kind of revolutionized the way people talk about aid, and made people very fired up and inspired, and certainly made me want to get out there and be a part of the movement.
So you were a commercial sex worker from when to when?
From 94 to 98.
I'm just curious how much you were paid for that work.
50 shillings.
It's a tough topic. The challenge that women and girls face around the world is not an easy topic to talk about, but we really think it is the moral challenge of this century.
Nick and Cheryl are out there talking about this issue, and not just talking about it kind of theoretically, but they have all these stories about actual girls and women that are going through some of these struggles. That really brings it to life for a much wider audience.
Is that red door, is that a brothel, do we think?
Yes, it is.
Do you have a supply of condoms here?
No, they don't have it. They have to buy it and bring it.
You have to buy condoms? As long as the victims are poor, rural, female, illiterate, they don't have voice.
Don't want to forget that.
To be physically present in a place is irreplaceable. Nicholas is right. You have to show up.
She's fine.
She is fine.
Okay. This is like a war map, a strategic map. Where do we need someone to fight the enemy? She doesn't have a radial pulse. Disease, death.
Celebrities can bring these issues into the limelight. That's just a no-brainer. That's your job, you know, to shine a little light on people that are actually doing the hard lifting.
Make that one I tell you, it's been sold.
But from a brothel or
From a brothel.
You can't come up with something more beautiful than a young, innocent girl. And to inflict that experience on that human being is unspeakably cruel.
So she have to like 10, 12 plans a day. If she don't want it, they beat her. I want to empower the survivor to stand up and say no. If they want to say no.
3-year-old.
It's a 3-year-old girl who has been raped and she's just come back for follow-up. Yeah.
We shouldn't allow the violence that is being inflicted on women to continue. It must stop, because it can't stop, and they need to be part of the solution.
Stay safe, okay? Sometimes the problem feels so big that changing one life doesn't feel like enough, but it is.
So every person, every corner of this world needs to raise a voice and say this has to stop.
This is not rocket science. This is not a problem that is unsolvable, that we have to invent something new. It just takes political will.
The rights we want to choose our husbands. We want to own the land. We want to go to school. We don't want to be cut anymore. We want also to make decisions. We want to participate in politics, to be leaders. We want to be equal.
The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. If we are going to see real development in the world, then our best investment is women.